Alright, Rampage World Tour. That's where I left off. It's one of those games that if if you didn't grow up playing it, one of the classic games, like if you didn't grow up playing the classic version, you probably wouldn't get the point of this version. But no matter what generation you're from, you get to live a kaiju moment. You get to live a kaiju moment or giant monsters, I should say. You get to live those moments that made kaiju movies, cheesy monster movies, awesome. My only complaints about this game was from the original. I liked the gray Ralph. They made him blue in this game, and I don't know if that's an error or something, or they try to make him edgier, but it doesn't really work. And some people argue, oh, he's gray still. No, he's a blue claymation version of himself, and I do like that you can change their colors, but I gotta look at that on the cover that he's blue. Another complaint, a lot of people keep telling me there's nudity in the game. It should be raised to an AO. Even if there is, compared to the giant monsters, they're tiny little pixels. And if you're making a big deal about that, then I guess, you should find another hobby. Seriously? And then they say, oh, one thing I don't like, there's this one scientist. And I'll admit, when I was younger, I kind of liked it. But she's got to be one of the biggest sex symbols in the whole game. Aside from the mythical nude Lizzie. Which I still say, even if it is true that you can see as something, you'd have to be a code breaker to see it. And you'd have to magnify it and everything. You'd have to have some kind of... You'd have to have a lot of free time to do that. And I don't... And a lot of talent. And I don't have that kind of stuff. And I don't really care. I like Rampage because it's giant monsters destroying buildings. Battle tanks. Not really one of my favorite games, but it had a very good sequel. The point of battle tanks was it's the apocalypse. The only things that survived were tanks, and the world's divided into certain gangs. The main character, Brandon, is forming his own militia, or his brigade, or whatever. I forget what his gang is called. But he's going around to save his fiancée, Madison, who became one of the Queen Lords. And the women are called Queen Lords because there's I think a tenth of the population is women. So women have all the power. They're the Queen Lords. And it seems kind of cool when I think about it, because I'm really into that kind of stuff. But the game fails. The plot feels broken, and then when you go into the sequel, it feels a little more handled with alliances and all that. But I don't have the sequel, so I won't get into that. Winback. A game by Koei that my brother thinks is really cool. I don't really see how he can get into it. It's a broken story. It's not very fluid. It's a really ugly game. And the controls are weird. You have to be hiding behind something in order to aim at your enemies. I do like how you can choose to aim, auto aim, or regular aim, but there's a PS2 game out. Or PS1, I forget. Same version. It handles a lot better than the n64 version. I don't know why I have it. The sequel on the PS2 is broken. You play the same level twice and you have a time limit. Swords Heroes. A game that's good no matter what console it's on. Plastic Army Men. I used to have plastic army men as a child, but they did not compare to this. Especially since seeing how they would handle in the real world, it was one of my favorite games to play. Fighting ants, fighting alongside a bathtub. This is the stuff that I dreamed of as a child. Of course, it had its flaws, but it was plastic army man. You can't really beat that. Star Fox 64. I've beaten this game 20 times, and I still haven't unlocked everything. I've beaten every path. I've gotten every level. Anyway, I've beaten every path. I've beaten every level, and I still don't have certain things. This is one of those games that if you had 4 people, nobody wanted to go to Sector Z. Everybody wanted to use the Landmaster. They wanted to be on foot. Close the door when you leave, please. My brother and his friend. Anyway, this is one of those... I don't know how to explain it. Like you either had to go to Corneria, or I can't remember what the other level was. I think it was Katina. In point match, or in shoot down mode, or time trial, whatever, I forgot what it was. Shooting down enemies. It was just fun. You had a cheesy story and everything, and I still played it more. I just wish I could play as Wolf instead of the Star Fox team. Army Man air combat. It improved on the original Army Man system. Flying around in their vehicles. I always wanted to be in their vehicles. The only thing that can beat this would probably be Sarge's Heroes 2, I mean. Or any other Army Man game where I could use the other vehicles. This game has its flaws though, because if you're playing one player, you need to select a co-pilot, and certain co-pilots were not that good. Mission Impossible. I don't know why anyone would play this game. I don't know why I have it. It's not fun. It's not good. I'm gonna skip it. Pokemon Snap. I've unlocked everything on this. I've beaten it so many times. It's not really one of my favorite games, because to be honest, nothing can beat a Mew picture. No matter how great you get any other picture, nothing beats that rare Mew picture. And that's, once someone's gotten that, they've got bragging rights for the whole game. You could fill an album, which I've already done. You could fill a photo album also of your personal pictures. And still that cover picture, your best shot's always going to be whoever got that Mew. And it's kind of annoying to try and top a Mew picture with another Mew picture with another Mew picture. It's not even that great of a level. Perfect Dark. A great single player game. Really bad multiplayer game, in my opinion. Damn, I'm almost at the 9-minute mark again. It's basically female James Bond. And it has a stupid storyline, and the bonus missions are kind of fun. But it's one of those games that started the whole achievement factor, where you had to do certain things under certain time limits and all that. Beating a mission on Perfect Agent in under a minute is one of the most impossible things, but it unlocks the best cheat ever. And you couldn't unlock this if you did the transfer pack Perfect Dark Game Boy version. I think it was infinite ammo, no reloads. I don't know how anyone could beat a mission, the hardest mission also, in under a minute on the hardest difficulty setting. Oh crap, 10 seconds, I gotta go. I'll continue my conversation.